Last Yaksha asks, how does Roja Parfum feel when they see someone make a copy of your perfume with 1/10 of the price? Welcome back to Mayfair, London once again, where we're going to be exploring another fragrance brand, and today we're covering Roja. Roja Parfum are a legendary British house. Unfortunately, Mr. Dove himself was in Scent Explorer, so we couldn't interview him. Today we're interviewing Jack, head of branding. Enjoy. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. We have a very special video today. We're actually here in the Roja Boutique in the Burlington Arcade in London, and we're here today with Jack, who is the head of brand from Roja Parfum. Lovely to meet you, Jack.
Lovely to meet you, Emma. Nice to meet you.
Thank you for having us. Thank you very much. And today, Jack, what we're doing is we're trying to really put you guys in the spotlight today. You guys are very famous online. People have the iconic scents from yourselves, such as Elysium. I'm sure, I don't have to tell you, like Elysium, Enigma, Oceania, etc., etc. But today, we want to focus on helping our mostly male audience to have a brief brand overview of Roja, what you guys are all about, your inspirations. What I'm also going to discuss is my personal top 3 from yourselves right now. And then you would hopefully give a little brief overview yourself as the expert. And that's what I would say are some good, let's say, introductions into Roja yourselves. You might agree or disagree. Then I want you to tell us what you would keep as one fragrance for life from the brand. So you have to get rid of all other Roja fragrances and you'll keep one. I'll give you some time to think.
Okay, no pressure.
Sorry guys, we'll probably have to do some cuts to give Jack some time to think about that. And also we'll discuss some of the best sellers from the brand as well and see what people can go ahead and explore to get into Roja. And we also have a few questions from our audience on Instagram that are quite interesting. So it'll be like a mini Q&A. Are you happy for us to do that?
More than happy, yeah.
Excellent. Let's begin then. So Jack, first of all, tell us a bit about Roja. If you have to give a brief overview of the brand, what's it all about, what's the inspirations, who's it for?
Okay, so Roja is a British brand. Yeah. In case you didn't know that, we launched on the 2nd of July 2011, so we're still a relatively new brand. And we are celebrated around the world for creating fragrances using some of the finest quality ingredients in the world, which hopefully you will smell some of the characters and the quality when we go through some of the fragrances today. So we have a fragrance here called simply Roja. It's a little bit like a snow globe, so perfect for this time of the year. So what you have in here is a 24 karat gold leaf. But the interesting fact and the games you can play with people is the 24 karat gold leaf is actually one of the cheapest ingredients in this juice.
That's crazy.
So you're mentioning quality. So you know the jasmine here costs 2 times the price of the gold that you see.
Wow.
The orris in here, which is where we get the powderiness from, that costs 3 times the price of gold. It takes 6 years to produce.
Wow. People don't appreciate florals can actually be super expensive if you get the top quality stuff.
Exactly. Okay. So where we can, we use a high volume of natural materials and the highest quality. So that pretty much sums up who we are in a bottle. So this is actually Roja Dove, our founder's fragrance.
His own signature, is it?
It's his signature, so simply called Roja. There's only 250 bottles made every year of this fragrance.
Okay.
The other thing I would also say as an introduction to our brand, you see our crystal caps and our golden plaques. So we refer to our fragrances as olfactive art pieces. So a little bit like walking into a gallery or viewing a piece of art. It often inspires a feeling, a memory.
So that summarizes Roja right there. It's a brand that's about refinement, memories, really enhancing someone's mood and, let's say, confidence and their personality. That's really great. And who do you think the brand is for? So some people watching might say, oh, but these are very expensive fragrances. You guys are priced higher. So who do you think should save up, or who are you generally aiming your fragrances towards?
So we like to say we're a generous brand. So we have 8 collections. So there's going to be something for everybody. So whether you like fresh, whether you like more sensual things, whether you have a high price point or a low price point. And there is something for everybody. So we range from the Prestige collection, which is where the bottle with the gold inside belongs. So we cater to the connoisseurs of fragrance, so the people that want the finest of the finest, things they can't find everywhere else, and this is where Roja's fragrance sits. And then we range also down to the people that just love fragrance. They want to find a fragrance that maybe they feel like they've discovered for themselves, that they can't find everywhere. So that's where your Elysiums come in. So we have a range of price points, something for everybody.
Because I think if you want to get into Roja, you want to see what your style is all about. These are my personal three favorites, and I would say these are all a little bit mature and quite masculine as well, I'd say overall. So my top three personally, I will say, first of all, Burlington 1819. People know I talk about this fragrance all the time on the channel.
Okay.
To me, it smells like luxury. It smells like wealth. Like if you want to smell like success, this is the fragrance you wear. I always say to people, like, when I say I really like this fragrance, I always put this on my for life lists. Like most of my, keep these fragrances for life kind of videos.
Well, I'm not just saying this because you're here, but I also love 1819.
Oh my God, there we go.
In case not many people know the story behind 1819, and there is quite the story. So during the pandemic, it's called 1819, Burlington 1819, because of where we are today. So we were celebrating the 200th year anniversary of when the arcade opened. So we had to launch it in 2019. Otherwise, the story wouldn't have made sense in terms of the dates. So the pandemic hit. In the UK, we couldn't go out and smell fragrances. We couldn't leave our homes. We couldn't shop.
Yeah.
So we, as a business, we had to look because we had all of this stock of a new launch ready to go, and we had no images, no way of marketing it. It wasn't in store for people to smell.
Wow.
So we said to Roja Dove, just leave it to us. And we simply, and this will tell you the power of our clientele and our brand, we simply filmed Roja on our mobile phones, talking about the inspiration behind the launch, his thoughts on it, the ingredients. We posted it on social media. And the next day, without anybody smelling it, all of the pieces had sold out.
Wow.
So this is when I talk about the clients, those people that want something that's different, the connoisseurs of fragrance. There is a trust in our brand that you're going to get the quality, you're going to get the storytelling, you're going to get something that's very dynamic.
Absolutely.
So again, we wanted to create this impression that we're stepping into luxury and getting this big, warm welcome, this big hug. And you mentioned the freshness, the big grapefruit note is undeniable. A little bit of ginger and tobacco. So we use ginger and tobacco at Roja just to suggest indulgence, like a swirl of indulgence.
Cool.
So yes, very, very close to this fragrance.
Amazing. My second pick as well would be Vetiver, the Extrait, though.
Okay. Yeah. I know Roja Dove personally, and he is very proud of this Vetiver. So this Vetiver and a fragrance we have called Diaghilev are the two fragrances that he is most proud of, that he would want to be remembered for, that he would want part of his legacy.
Wow.
We mustn't forget Vetiver. I'm sure your viewers will know, root of a grass. So it really needs to have that green element, that freshness, which you don't often find in other Vetivers. It's almost become a style in a way that's moving away from the ingredient.
So we have Vetiver, the Extrait. I will say this smells like a king, but very smooth at the same time. It's a very easy to wear Vetiver, but it smells like the top of Vetiver, like the top of the genre. That's what I really like about this, because you get some other Vetivers, like Haute to Nishane, they're a great brand as well, but they have a fragrance called Sultan Vetiver. I'm not sure if you've tried that fragrance. That's like every single type of Vetiver layer on top of each other. It's extremely smoky, and it's limited on who's going to like that. But this is easy to like from a wide variety of people. As long as you're a slightly mature gentleman who wants to smell rich, he wants a easy but rich Vetiver to wear. You can easily smell this. You can easily wear this. It smells luxurious, citrusy, very smooth, very fresh. This is for me, this is one of the best Vetiver fragrances on the market. Honestly.
Thank you so much.
Okay, and then the third fragrance, I would probably say the Elysium, the Extrait de Parfum. Yeah, Parfum. Yes.
In terms of the story of Elysium. So you may already know this, and I'm sure some of your viewers do. So Elysium means that's good. That's a good reaction. So Elysium in Greek mythology means paradise.
Okay.
And paradise can mean lots of different things to lots of different people. So often people think of a holiday, or they think of an extra hour in bed. It means lots of different things to lots of different people. But usually, universally, when you're in paradise, it means there's nothing heavy, there's nothing pulling your shoulders down, there's no weight on your shoulders. So hopefully when you smell our interpretation of paradise, it feels like it's weightless, like you're in the sky. And that's why the Eau de Parfum bottle, we have this blue colouring, because I think a lot of people think of paradise and think of like an open blue sky. So nothing heavy, nothing pulling you down. And the Elysium, it's our #1 fragrance globally. It's very much our signature now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the reason why I think it's #1 all around the world is because it has this instant burst of freshness, which I'm sure you can smell. The secret is the musk. So the musk brings sensuality. And then the other thing is we wanted to give this fragrance a real big strength of character. And we use that with the sandalwood and the cedarwood we use. So we use words to typify strength of character. So that's why I think it's #1 all around the world. The freshness, the sensuality, and then this strength of character, this huge depth to it.
I will say that the Extrait or the Parfum is a 10 out of 10. This is more rich and smooth, I would say. You tell us what's the difference what's the difference between the Parfum Cologne and the Parfum?
It's it's just about concentration, but I am aware of the online community, and we are very close with our clients and our fans, and where we can, we try and talk to everybody as much as we can. We try and answer as many messages as we can.
That's cool.
And so I'm very aware of what people say about the brand and the launches. So I'm also very aware of there is these kind of two tribes about who prefers what. And it very much is a personal thing. I mean, for us, it's just a case of concentration.
Okay.
But it's
sorry, just so people know, so are you saying that the blue bottle Parfum Cologne and the Parfum is literally the same formula, but just a higher concentration?
Exactly.
That's exactly, okay, interesting. Okay.
Exactly.
So that concludes my 3 for what I think are great for people to get introduced into the brand. For yourself, Jack, if you had to choose only one fragrance from all Roja's creations to keep for the rest of your life, what would you choose? And then tell us about this fragrance.
All right, no pressure, no pressure. One fragrance to keep for the rest of my life. I'm going to give you a fragrance called...
this is a new fragrance. This is Lost in Paris?
This is a new fragrance, and it's something that I can tell you how it smells, but really it does develop on everybody very differently.
Okay.
We launched it in Paris. We literally got lost in Paris, so it holds special memories for me. Lost in Paris, if you think of a crepe Suzette and you think of the flame and the flambe of a crepe Suzette, so think of the caramel and the oranges and bitter orange and the orange zest and the butter all mixing together. And very much the flame. The flame is the important thing.
Okay, so, I've heard about this fragrance. So there is a butter note in this fragrance, is that
absolutely.
correct?
Butter, vanilla, caramel, and all different types of oranges.
Okay guys, I'm trying Lost in Paris, first impressions on camera. Okay, very interesting. I've never smelled anything like that before. That is very interesting. I can smell the butter. It does smell like an edible, it is like a gourmand that's very airy at the same time. I know exactly what you're talking about with the orange. It's almost like a little bit burnt caramel-esque, buttery. You're like wearing a dessert with this fragrance, but it doesn't sound like it should work, but it smells like a perfume still. It doesn't just smell like you're wearing food,
Exactly. And as soon as it dries down, you'll smell it again, and I promise you it will smell completely different. It's a fragrance that just seems to keep developing differently over time on different people. So it always has a different story to tell. But ultimately the idea was to create a fragrance that very much feels like a very indulgent, warm treat.
Very nice. It's beautiful. Very interesting. I've never smelled anything like this before.
Exactly.
So
absolutely. It's always nice to introduce people that are new to it, because like I said, it really just does keep developing, and it's never one thing. I think it's hard to really put your finger on this fragrance.
Amazing. That's so cool. Okay, Jack, this might be quite an interesting topic. Everyone knows about Elysium. You say it's your top seller, but I want to put people onto the hidden gems. If you had to tell someone, okay, we're not going to tell you to buy Elysium, you want to get you something, what you think is a fragrance people are sleeping on, let's say, what would you suggest?
You might be familiar with a fragrance called Apex.
Yes.
And Apex will, the story will continue to be told next year with lots of things we have coming up as a little
new releases
into what's coming.
Okay, so I'll say no more, guys.
So it's always good to revisit the original Apex. And what I always say to people is, I mentioned Elysium and the blue sky, this idea of paradise.
Yeah.
And Apex, again, the clues are always in the bottle. So you have, I don't know if it will show up, but you have this green gradient.
Tinge, yeah.
So always remember me doing this, because Elysium, all about the sky paradise. Apex, the ground, being in touch with nature.
Interesting. Okay.
So it links to Elysium in that it's still very fresh, but it very much is this patchouli fir balsam, like you're brushing your hand against nature, mixed in with these kind of animalic leather notes. You know, think of the apex king of the jungles.
I think it smells really nice. I'm smelling it in the air now. I don't think it's as easy as Elysium personally, but I think it smells really nice.
Exactly. It's still got that freshness of Elysium, but it's very much warmer, drier, earthier. So this is Apex, and you know, after Elysium, it's our best-selling men's fragrance. And like I said, next year we're going to be telling the story of Apex in different ways. So it's always good to revisit the original.
Can I smell the Parfum as well?
Of course you can. So this is the Parfum version.
Oh, richer, more spices in here, definitely. More peppers, potentially? Is there a Sichuan pepper note, something like that in there?
Yeah, a bit of pepper.
And one more hidden gem from the brand of Roja. What do you think people should know about that people are sleeping on?
So I know everybody knows Isola Blue.
Yes.
So the story of Isola Blue was all about being on your own private yacht, you know, sunbathing, a leather bed behind you, citrus materials cooling you up, and this lavender that's been baked in the sun. It's also, as part of the story, good to know Isola Sol. So Isola Blue, like I said, you're on your private yacht, and it was all about traveling down the Mediterranean coast to your private island. Isola Sol is when you've arrived on the island.
So I'm in Mexico on a Caribbean beach, and it's the evening time, let's say. Is that right?
And you'll notice that I'm not just giving you a list of ingredients, because at Roja we think it's a bit boring. So we always start with a lifestyle that we want to try and capture. So I want you to think of this little bit of saltiness like when you're at the beach. I want you to think of the warmth of the sun as you're watching a sunset, you know, when it touches your skin. I want you to think of a really luxurious sun cream that you're wearing. And also a little bit of fruitiness in the background, so it's like a tropical private island that you're on. And it's just you, a little bit of saltiness, watching the sunset. And sandalwood in the background for just added warmth.
I love sandalwood. Sandalwood's a great note. Okay, guys, so I'm off my private yachts, as I always am. Amazing. And can I try also Isola Blue?
Of course you can, of course you can. So think of that leather seat I was talking about. A lot of pink pepper, almost like the sea sparkling, lavender that we've baked in the sun, and see if that comes through.
This is more my style. I like this a lot. Yeah, this is really nice. It's it smells a bit aquatic, very smooth. I'm not sure. What's the original variety? Is it citruses here? I think.
Yeah, lots of citrus materials. A little magnolia.
Yeah, extra smooth. I was going to guess neroli or something like that, but it smells.
Yeah, magnolia, pink pepper, like I said.
I'm personally not a fan of Isola Sol. To be honest with you, Jack, but Isola Blue, I'm feeling this.
Isola Blue, and then it's again an ingredient that unless somebody tells you, why would you know? So in the background, as a little bit of a sense of humour, you know, a British sense of humour, cut grass.
Okay.
The smell of cut grass, because in Britain, for a lot of people, when they smell cut grass, it means holidays, summer holidays. Okay. So the Isola collection is all about escaping, travelling to a warmer climate maybe. So we wanted to just add this little holiday element in there.
Okay, Jack, now we're going to do an Instagram mini Q&A. Jafar Fadel from our audience asks, what is the fragrance that focuses the most on vanilla in Roja Parfum? Or let's say, what's your number one vanilla fragrance? You have to pick only one.
So I would suggest Manhattan, Eau de Parfum. Think of 1920s Prohibition New York. Think of
Great Gatsby.
Great Gatsby. Think of
Roaring
a little
20s.
bit of Roaring 20s, a little bit of swirl of tobacco. Think of cocktails, and within that kind of vanilla, smooth sensuality, you're going to smell something that's a little bit sweet and creamy, mixed in with heliotrope, which smells like that all-American cherry pie.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I smelled this on paper before a few years ago, and I really liked it, but I just haven't smelled it again since.
Okay.
And I think it'd be nice to smell it again.
Let's go for it. Let's go for it. So see if you can pick on those cocktails and the tobacco and this
cherry, vanilla, tobacco,
exactly.
cocktails. Okay.
This cherry pie, which comes from our heliotrope.
So we're smelling Manhattan again after 2 years. Yeah, very rich, cherry-based. Smooth again. I like that you guys always do very smooth blends. Yeah, cherry, airy, vanillic, very smooth, airy and musky, I would say as well. This smells like a fragrance that it will be worn in evening times for sure, but it's not a traditional vanilla. It's not like a regular generic vanilla. It's a more of like a boozy fragrance. It's very different.
Yeah.
If you guys, it's kind of like, if you like Enigma, right? But Enigma is a bit more serious, I would say. Whilst this is a bit more, as you said, playful, roaring
Yeah.
20s. If you guys like phrases like Guerlain's Nom Idéal Extreme or Nom Idéal New Parfum, you'll like this as well. This is a very nice cherry fragrance. I'll say it's unisex as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, very nice. This might be quite a controversial question, Jack.
Okay.
Last Yaksha asks, how does Roja Parfum feel when they see someone make a copy of your perfume with 1/10 of the price? Because I know that's a big thing in the industry now.
Do you mean, when you say a copy, you mean literally like an inspired by fragrance
Yes.
where they quite openly say
Yes.
inspired by Elysium?
Or they make the bottle look very similar to Elysium, but they're called, I don't know, electrifiers. So, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm with you,
there's that
I'm
part of the
with you.
industry.
I mean, to be honest, I mean, we see it. I don't particularly feel much. I smile.
Okay, sure.
So I think what you have to remember is what we started with when we first met. We were talking about these quality ingredients.
Yes.
And I don't think you can copy the quality of the ingredients. Otherwise, you know, why would we need to use them? So I don't think you could kind of recreate, you know, a rose that you have to travel up a mountain for, that you have to pick at a certain point before the sun touches it. You know, it smells too beautiful. So I don't worry too much. And also, you know, when you use the finest quality ingredients, you also get the finest quality longevity.
Okay.
And I think whatever brand that your followers are like to wear, I think we can all agree that we want to smell great and we want it to last.
Okay.
And
yeah.
I feel like you can only really get that when you use the best ingredients, and then you get the best longevity on the skin.
So basically, you're not worried about
No, I'm
these
not.
brands.
No.
Fair
I'm
enough.
not worried. But you know, each to their own, and
Yes.
it's fragrance, and there's no rules. And you know, if you find a fragrance that you love and it makes you smile and it makes you feel good, then
Yeah,
you know,
everyone's
what
budget
can I
is
say?
different, isn't
Exactly.
it? Yeah. And the last question, which actually I'll put it as a 2-in-1. One user is called some generic guy, that's his actual username, asks,
Okay.
can a young man pull off a Roja fragrance? And another user asks, what would be the first Roja that'd be great as like a first addition to someone's collection? So we'll kind of put it as a 2-in-1. How would you answer that?
Well, I would also say, and again, it's one of those things that if nobody tells you, why would you know? So the majority of our clientele around the world are below the age of 35.
Okay.
So the main bulk of our clientele falls between 25 and 35.
Okay. Wow.
So, which I think is just interesting to know. And maybe it changes a few perceptions.
Okay.
Absolutely, to that
Okay.
point.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I think,
Again, young is a very vague term. Let's say, I think 25-year-olds could definitely, rock your creation. Let's say a 20-year-old, a really young man, you know, super young. I don't know.
Super young.
Let's say Gen Z people.
I don't know if you've noticed. I first noticed it when I was in America for some trainings. But I noticed 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds going into Neiman Marcus and going up to our brand and already knowing the stories, the notes, and everything.
Shout out to my boy Finn from FB Fragrances, Fragrance Knowledge,
There
the
we go.
Cologne boy. These are probably the influencers that have influenced Gen Z the most.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think what is important to say is these 14-year-olds, these 15-year-olds are also buying. So from first-hand experience, from what I've seen, you know, people that come into the Burlington Arcade, people that go into Harrods, they're buying Oceania.
Oceania, okay. And can you tell us a bit about Oceania?
Yeah, so Oceania is like, in an easy way, like a carefree, troubled day, floating on the ocean with the sun above you, citrus materials just cooling you up.
So guys, I think I've smelled Oceania before, but let me just do another first impressions. I can't remember it. Yeah, very clean. White florals, citruses, musk. It uses that white floral, powerful white musks that I'm not a fan of personally.
Okay.
But I can see why this would sell well. I feel like this would be very easy to wear.
So they're buying Oceania, they're buying the original Elysium Eau de Parfum, they're buying Isola Blue.
Okay, I can see why, yeah. I really like. Some people say Isola Blue has some similarities to Terre d'Hermès. Do you agree or disagree?
Again, it's I don't personally see it, but you know, you can't say somebody's wrong if that's what memories it conjures up. That's absolutely fine.
Fair enough. Okay. I thought I have to ask that because people will be in the comments like asking about Terre d'Hermès, but yeah,
That's fine.
I'll be honest with you, I do see some similarities, but
Okay.
yeah, but I just so we make a discussion. It's not just me saying, oh, just agree with everything you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm telling you which fragrances I'm not a fan of. They're not my
perfect.
style. And
I mean, the good thing with us is, like I said, we've got 8 collections, and we don't expect everybody to love everything.
Exactly.
And if you don't love it, there's going to hopefully be something that you do.
Yeah, exactly.
More drawn to, so.
Exactly. As I told you off camera, I have my own brand, and we have some people say we absolutely love this creation, and then they get our next fragrance, and they're like, disgusting. Okay, fair enough. And then some people love that next fragrance as well. It's like everyone has different styles, as you appreciate. Okay, Jack, I think we've talked a lot about very interesting topics. Is there anything you want to tell the audience before we wrap up?
Oh, just thank you so much for supporting Roja. Thank you for supporting Omar, and please do come and see us in London or around the world, and get to know Roja if you don't know it already.
As we said at the beginning of the video, guys, the Roja Boutique here in London is based in Burlington Arcade. Come and say hello. Come and try out Roja's beautiful creations. You guys also do discovery sets, sample sets, a wide variety.
We do, and you're going to find things in the boutique in the Burlington Arcade that you won't find anywhere else in the world. So it's very much our flagship in London.
That's so cool. Thank you for watching today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it and learned a lot. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.